Dressed in your Sunday best, you figure you're going to go out, maybe see the public at some point. The jury may have done that today because reporters have seen the jurors arriving at court, maybe a little spiffier than usual. But at this point, they ain't going anywhere. They've got lunch coming, more deliberations on the way. The judge has sent them back after they suggested we can't get beyond this deadlock. She said, give it another try. We're catching you up on some of the closing arguments. The last thing this jury heard before they went to begin their deliberations of plus 19 hours now. So more of Mr. Alan Jackson and the defense.
Speaking of which, what is the evidence that John went into the house? The Commonwealth will tell you, undoubtedly, no, he never went in the house. And they'll point to certain witnesses who they say didn't see him go in. Well, the question you have to ask yourself is, can you rely on that? First, these are all people who are related to or committed to the Alberts in some way or another. That all-powerful Kenton family, it's easy to say, I didn't see something, because how can that really be challenged? Some actually may not have seen John walk into the house. They were in the kitchen, as you recall, from Nicole. Third, at least one witness, Brian Higgins, forgot his narrative, at least for a second, and he admitted a man did, in fact, come into the house. And when he was caught and asked to describe that man, he had to. It was a little bit vague. Remember what he said. He was tall with dark hair. That was a telling slip of the tongue by Brian Higgins. But what's the real evidence of the unbiased data, the data that's not connected to the Albert family? How about John's Apple Health data? It shows that at 12:21 a.m., an important time, John arrived. That's established by the monotonic time clock that you heard about in this trial. It was on his phone, and that represents a huge problem for the Commonwealth. It shows that he took 80 steps and ascended or descended 3 flights of stairs at that time. And that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? It matches. Walks into the house, goes directly to the basement. There's your 80 steps and your descending flights of stairs. The big problem for the Commonwealth is he wasn't outside at the car ascending and descending stairs, wasn't climbing on top of the car. So they'll tell you, wait, don't look at the Apple Health data, look at this other thing called Waze. But Rick Green explained that if you apply the 3-minute offset that is built into that monotonic time, it aligns perfectly. They don't want you to see that. They don't want you to pay attention. They want you to look the other way. But even more importantly, at approximately 12:32 a.m., someone holding John's phone takes another 36 steps and travels 25 meters. Why is that so important? Because by 12:32 a.m., Karen Read was gone. She had already left the location. She left at 12:30. Trooper Garino told you that Karen Read's phone connected to John's Wi-Fi at what time? 12:36. It is undisputed in this case that it's a 6-minute drive on a good day from 34 Fairview over to One Meadows. She was gone by 12:30, and John's phone was taking 36 steps and logging 25 meters at 12:32 after she left. So don't be fooled. John walked into that house, after which Karen drove away, and the scientific data all prove it. But also, Ryan Nagel and Heather Maxson prove it. In addition to the Apple Health data, Ryan and Heather both independently testified that they passed Karen's SUV as they drove away after talking to Julie, and Karen was alone in the SUV. John was not with her. He wasn't in the car. He wasn't standing outside the car. He wasn't sitting beside the car. He wasn't laying on the ground beside the car. He was nowhere in sight. There's only one other place that John could have been, and that's in the house. Exactly where the Apple Health data places him. So it all fits. And Ryan was right behind her, remember, staring at her taillights, undamaged, brightly lit. That brings up another difficulty for the Commonwealth, and that's their star witness, Jennifer McCabe. You'll recall that Jennifer McCabe claimed that she was looking out the doors.
Okay, still with me is Catherine Lizardo. Catherine, let's talk about this mysterious Allen charge. We didn't really get that from the judge. We got some sort of truncated, get back in there kind of thing. What's your take on whether or not she can do the Allen charge or another charge? Where does it end?
Well, the law in Massachusetts seems to be unclear about this. That's because, first, the law requires that the Allen charge be said verbatim, as close as possible to that. Well, we heard the judge not read the actual Allen charge, so there could be an argument that she did not give the Allen charge at all, but is it the spirit of the Allen charge that is taken into account that we were talking about during the break? There's also a law in Massachusetts that says that if the jury comes out and says we cannot reach a conclusion and the Allen charge was given, that they can be asked to go and be given the second Allen charge only if they consent to it and they ask for a clarification of law. But this is not really a per se rule as to how many number of Allen charges the judge can give without sounding coercive to the jury.
Yeah, and I find it interesting that once that limit is hit, the jury could actually say, you know, we're struggling, Judge, but we'll voluntarily continue to deliberate. But the real question is, once they get that Allen charge, is that it? And here we are approaching a Friday afternoon, Catherine. You know, these things tend to happen. So we obviously are going to keep an eye on the Karen Read case, the jury, questions, deadlocks, whatever they may be. After the top of the hour, though, we're going to shift focus a little bit. Young Thug, that continues. So stay where you are. We're going to follow this right to its end. I'm Michael Bryant. This is Law and Crime.